Hello children, welcome again to another class of English language. Today children we are continuing with the revision chapter and we are going to discuss the use of ought to, ought not to, should and should not. Now children, what does ought to mean? Ought to is used when we want to express an objective truth. That means what is necessary and what cannot be avoided. Now, where do we use should? Should is used when we want to express a subjective opinion. That means what I think is best for you to do. So let us understand one more thing, that ought is always followed by the word to, okay? And then we write the verb. Now, should and ought have similar meanings. That means they have the same meaning and can often be replaced, or we can write should instead of should. We can also use ought to. Now children, let us have a look at some of the sentences that we are going to learn how to write should or should not, ought or ought not to. Now children, as I already told you, that when we write ought, we need to write the word to after it and then add the verb. We can replace ought with should and should with ought. Now let us have a look at the first sentence that we have. They ought to be careful. If you have a look at the word over here, ought, it is followed by the word to. Now, how do we rewrite the sentence? As I told you, we can replace ought with the word should. Now, since my sentence is in the positive form, I will write they should. Now, while replacing should with ought, I do not need to write the word to. Now, they should be careful. Okay? Now, let us have a look at the second sentence. You ought not to be careless. So, this sentence is in the negative form. Now, how will we write this sentence? Instead of using the word ought, we are going to replace it and write should. You should not. Now, as I told you, we only use the word to along with ought. So, while writing this sentence, we are using should. We will not be writing the word to. You should not be careless. Now, let us have a look at the next example. You should be careful. So, what do I need to do? I need to replace the word should with ought to. So, you ought to be careful. Likewise children, the last one, you should not be careless. So this sentence again is in the negative form. So what are we going to do? While writing the answer, we will write you ought not to be careless. So I hope children you have understood how to write your sentences using ought to, ought not to, should and should not. Now children, let us have a look as to what we have to do in this set of questions. We need to rewrite this sentence beginning with they. Okay, and what are the rules that we are going to follow with this? When we begin our sentence with they, we will use the verb straight after the subject. And what is the subject? They. So they plus verb plus the noun or the pronoun. Now let us have a look at this sentence. Tom is the subject over here. Was is the helping verb. Made is the main verb. Now the captain is object. Now what do we need to do? We need to begin our answer using the word they. Now when we ask the question, what did they make? Okay. So we get the answer, they made. What did they make? They made Tom captain. Okay, now let's have a look at the next one. The plates were washed clean. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the plates. The helping verb and the washed is the main verb. Now children, we will be asking the question as to what did they do or what did they wash. They washed what? The plates clean. How did they wash it? They washed it clean. So we begin our sentence using they. Then we will write the main verb. They washed. Now what did they wash? The plates. How did they wash the plates? They washed the plates clean. Okay? We do not write the helping verb while writing the answer. Likewise, the door was painted red. Now, what are we talking about? We are talking about the door. We have to begin our answer using the word they. Now, what did they do? They painted. Okay? So, we'll write the answer. They painted. If I ask the question, what did they paint? I get the answer, they painted the door. Okay? Now, how did they paint the door? What was the color of the door? It was red. That means they painted the door red. So, I hope children you have understood how we are going to write our answers or sentences beginning with they. Thank you.